Hello, in this short presentation I'm going to show you how to insert a running head into a paper. Now this is done because according to APA 6 it's necessary to identify each page of a paper, and I'll tell you quite frankly the reason why this is done is normally because people use this for doctoral dissertations, and a lot of times the cover page of a dissertation is removed from the rest of the paper so that there's no identification of the writer. In our case, however, we are just simply following these APA 6 guidelines in order to identify the pages of our paper. Now, as you know, the running head is an abbreviated title that's printed at the top of the pages of a manuscript, and it's used to identify the manuscript for readers. The running head should be a maximum of 50 characters, counting letters, punctuation, and spaces between words, and it should appear flush left in all uppercase letters at the top of the title page and on all subsequent pages. As you also know, the words running head do have to appear on page 1, but they do not appear on the subsequent pages of a manuscript. The process I'm going to show here is being created on Word 2007, and you will find that other versions of Word are done very similarly to this. They just may have different commands that you're going to use, but the order of the steps and the steps that you're going to take are exactly the same. So the first thing you want to do is go up to the top of your paper. Oh, and by the way too, before you try to set up a running head, make sure that you have a paper. In other words, do not do a title page, put a running head on it, and then try to type the paper after that. Word doesn't like that, and a lot of times it really will mess things up for you. So put your title page on, but don't put the running head on until you've written the rest of the paper. And that way it'll ensure that everything works out okay. Okay, back to the running head then. You need to go up to the top of the paper, and you're going to click in the header section. Now, if you have a subsequent version of Word, like 2013 or Office 365, you are probably going to have to go to this header up here and click that to open up the header. Otherwise, other versions of Word will let you just click in the header section to open it up. The first step always should be to click different first page. This is very important. If you don't do this first, the rest of the steps won't necessarily work correctly. Then go to page number, choose top of page, and choose plain number 1. As you can see, Word has inserted a number 1 for you there for page 1. Now, your task here would be to put your running head in. You're going to type running head with a lowercase h, you'll notice, and then you're going to type in a truncated version of the title of the paper. Now, in this particular case, the title of this paper is probably less than 50 characters just looking at it, so we're going to use the whole thing. But if that title there was any longer, you would have to cut it down to 50 characters or less to put it up in the running head. So let's just put it in there. Okay, whoops, there's a little typo up there. You know what? Be very careful when you are typing your running head to make sure you don't misspell prohibition. There we go. Because you know that Word will not catch misspellings in uppercase type, so be very careful that it's not misspelled. Alrighty then, just make sure then that your cursor is to the left of the number 1. Go to Insert Alignment tab, choose Right, and click OK. And what that does then is that it moves the number over to the right-hand side at the very far right-hand margin. Okay, so page number 1 is done. We're going to copy the title so we don't have to type it in again. Go down to page 2, click again in the header section, or open the header if necessary. Click page number, top of page, and plain number 1, and you'll notice this time Word knew that this is page 2, so it did type a 2 in there for you. Now we're going to either type in or we're going to paste in the name of the paper. Once again, go to Insert Alignment tab, click Right, do an OK, and now it has put a number 2 up there for you. So let's close this. Take a look at page 1. There's your running head with the words running head. Page 1. Go down to page 2, and now you see that page 2 only has prohibition, cause, and effect. Page 3 is the same, and so forth, all the way down to the references page. Now there's actually one final thing you need to do before you're finished, and that is you need to make sure that the running head is in the same typeface as the rest of the paper, which of course, as you know, APA recommends Times New Roman 12. So we're going to actually do a copy of that. Go over here, choose Times New Roman 12 points, and now it has been fixed. But of course, as you know, page 2 is different from page 1, so we have to do the same thing over here. Choose Times New Roman 12, and now that one is in the correct typeface and type size. And again, if you take a look, you'll see that each of the pages is correct. Okay, that's all there is to it. I recommend doing this with this automatic feature versus doing it manually, because you probably know that when you space over, the way Word works because of kerning in between letters, that's the space between letters to accommodate thin letters versus big letters, you know, like L versus H. Spacing over with the space bar and sometimes even tabbing over will not put you at exactly the same spot on each page. This method will assure that it's the same. That's all there is to it. Of course, if you have questions, you may always ask me for help, and I hope this does help you in the future.